What's up, good people? It's your boy DJ TheParkBoy. We're in the building. Welcome to a new episode of the L.I.M.E show. Yes, I am here. We've made it. Another episode. I can't wait to, get my thoughts off to y'all. In the comments, let me know how y'all weekend been. Football came back, so I've been busy with that. Red zone is the greatest thing to ever happen to football. If my team's not playing, I could just throw in red zone and watch almost all the games at once. You can't beat that experience when it comes to football. Being able to catch all the best moments of the games, the most important things, turnovers, touchdowns, the stuff we want to see, the big plays, all in one channel. And when my team's not playing, because we had the Monday night football game, which we lost, unfortunately, you can throw that on and Sunday becomes a fun day. Which I'm gonna make sure I got red zone going next week because we got Sunday night football. We have Sunday night football. We play the Chiefs. I'm a little worried about that, but guess what? Hopefully we find a way to pull it out. I got faith. I have faith. We actually look pretty decent. Hopefully they fix the issues on defense, but we look pretty decent. But we here. We're here. And since we speaking on football, I guess I might as well jump into this story right here. Right here. The boy, the one, the only, Jay-Z is reportedly one of the potential suitors with Jeff Bezos to buy the Denver Broncos. That's big. That is big for Jay. Let's get into the story. It says the Broncos have an ownership situation, if not settled, among the family members of the late Pat Bowlen will result in a 2022 sale. If the team is sold, two potential buyers have emerged via AJ Perez of Front Office Sports. A pair of names keep popping up as new owners of the Broncos. Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and Jay-Z, the one and only. The expected purchase prices will be $4 billion. It is unclear whether Jay-Z would have the financial wherewithal to personally hold enough equity and also have the resources to run the team. At an estimated net worth of $1.4 billion, that likely wouldn't be enough for him to be a controlling owner of the team that sells for $4 billion. By rule, you need to personally purchase 30% of the franchise. He could become a key part of an ownership group, the public face and the voice, while the person with the money remains relatively anonymous. And that's the role John Bon Jovi would have played in the group that tried to buy the Bills, for example. Franchise values are expected to skyrocket in the age of legalized gambling. For years, Bezos had been linked to the NFL, given his massive holdings and mushrooming costs of owning and operating a team. He's one of the few in the world who could pull it off without blinking. Let me be honest, I wouldn't want Jeff Bezos to get a team. He has the money. He does have the financial wherewithal to pull it off. He has all of that. But I would like to see Jay-Z do it. I would love to see black man in a league that's 70 probably percent and up more black people in the league. I would love to see some black ownership. It'd be nice. It definitely would be nice. Now the price tag, like they said, is a little above Jay-Z's range. It is above his range, but that doesn't mean he can't make things happen. Maybe he can possibly go get one of those extraordinary loans that some rich people have access to, and the rest of us have to sit back and wish we could. Jerry Jones technically didn't have the money to buy the Cowboys. He got a loan from the Teamsters and was able to flip that. So maybe he can get access to the capital. There's some people who have that type of money to loan out. They loan out that money for stadiums. So I mean, they should be able to show that cost wise, you'll be able to get that money back in the loan. And it's not like Jay-Z's not on the path to, dominating things financially in other ways. He's on that road. But this story right here that I'm about to get into, it sucks. I hate stories where I gotta come in and say it sucks, because usually somebody's doing something stupid. And the stupid thing they did this weekend was vandalize the grave site of Pop Smoke. I don't know why somebody would go do this, but they did. They definitely did. So, according to TMZ, Pop Smoke's gravesite, Crip badly vandalized, casted, dragged out, question mark, question mark, question mark. I know. Hey, I don't know the type of time some of y'all on, and this is like crazy type of time right here. So, it says law enforcement sources tell TMZ NYPD responded to the cemetery around 2 p.m. yesterday after an employee discovered Pop Smoke's crypt was damaged. The crypt was damaged sometime between 2:30 Friday and 2 p.m. Saturday. There were no cameras in the area, and the total damage is $500. So far, there are no suspects and no arrests have been made. Police are investigating now. They have some pictures up here. They say there were drag marks on the ground, which could possibly have been them trying to remove his casket or whatnot. To the people who did this, like, karma is real. You can't put out negative energy like this and expect positive things to come back to you. You may see some things that you consider the positive for that moment, but will you truly feel whole at the end of the road? You know what I'm saying? I don't know who could justify this. He's dead. It's one thing for people to already talk about the dead, but to go destroy where they're resting at, that's a new level of low to me. I don't know how you get any lower than that. How, who, what, when, why. There's no rhyme or reason behind stuff like this. I don't get it at all. And now we have video of his parents. They went to the gravesite to go clean up the mess that people made. What do y'all gain from this? What type of points do you gain from doing this to his gravesite? That's just something I don't understand. I don't want to try to understand. I don't want to hear any justifications, because I don't think it's anything you could tell me to make me say, oh yeah, I see where they was coming from. Nah, the man's dead. Let him rest. Let him rest. Let him rest. He's dead. Any problems you had, you should have tried to get out the way when he was here. But he's gone now. He can't even defend his name, defend himself. And y'all doing it. There's no cameras. Y'all ain't telling nobody to pull up. You got an issue. You want to do that? Nah. Y'all attacking somebody who can't protect themselves. So, I don't know what type of cool points y'all thought y'all was going to get for that. I don't understand why you would do that. But people just be out here doing things sometimes. And that definitely looked like one of them times people just out here doing shit. Again, I don't get it at all. At all. So,
well, the rumor's accurate in terms of me wanting.
Let me go ahead and pause that. So, we found out recently that Stephan A Smith wanted Max Kellerman gone. He wanted him off the show. And I think they say he lied about it initially. But then he did a new interview where he explains his side of the story. So we're going to listen to what Stephan A Smith has to say. And then we're going to go talk about what his comments. Do you agree? Do you disagree?
Well, the rumor's accurate in terms of me wanting him off the show. Let's get that out the way. Yes, I did. It's not like I wanted the guy to be fired or anything like that. I knew that there were landing spots for him available at this network that would generate just as much, if not more, revenue for him and all of that other stuff. And it wasn't really about asking him to be off the show. It was about the fact that I knew that we together, as far as I was concerned, was not a great partnership anymore. And that was something that needed to change.
So he said he felt like their partnership has started becoming stale. My thing with that is Stephan A Smith, you kind of debate really bad. And you lost a lot of cool points with the black community. They even have a video up on YouTube. Y'all can go check it out. It's called 10 Minutes of Max Kellerman being blacker than Stephan A Smith. And it's sad that, somebody could put together a compilation like that, and I probably will believe majority of the people would agree with Max Kellerman. Getting him fired and him being the guy who's considered the cool guy on your show doesn't help your image when you got things like Kwame Brown, who gave you some mama's cooking. He gave you mama's cooking, and it was spicy. Had some spice on that cook. You hear me? You tell people to stay off the weed. And here on the Next Up Network, we stay on the weed. Trust me, we do. But you have ridiculed and I feel like you've lost a lot of grace points. And now to kind of throw Max Kellerman under the bus because maybe I believe your shtick's starting to become tired. You know what I'm saying? What profound argument has Stephan A Smith made that he's been super correct about? That we can go down the road and say, hey, he knows what he's talking about. I don't know any of those takes. I don't. And I think he just needs somebody who wants to yell at, who's going to yell back at him, who maybe can push smaller clips and videos, make it bigger from all the, bravado of yelling, instead of actually having a debate, getting your points across without having to yell at the next person. Maybe that's the case. That's what he's looking for. I don't understand it, I don't understand it at all. But again, it's not for me to understand. It's Stephan A's decision. He's the man over at ESPN. But people really like Max. People really love Max. To push him off the show when you're already doing bad, who do you bring in that's going to bring that excitement? I don't know. Because to me, I'm going to go turn on Skip and Shannon if I want to watch some sports debates. That's what I'm going to go listen to. Shannon Sharp has done a much better job of being with Skip than you have. Shannon has actual takes that we can go back and say, okay, he was on to something. He was ahead of his time. He tried to change something with what he did. That's Shannon. You, Stephan, not so much. Not to say it's all your fault, but that's kind of the way that you maneuver. So, I want to get to y'all guys' president because he's had a week. Joe Biden is he's something else. He is something else. So the handlers always try to handle him extra because when he goes off script, he says usually stupid things, or he goes out there and says lies. He loves to lie. He can't control himself when it comes time to lying. That's our president. The guy who said he was arrested trying to go see Nelson Mandela. He lied. He's on record of saying a lot of things, but he's on record of lying. When he ran for president the first time, he lied about where he graduated in his rank in school. He just lied about his GPA, his degrees. He's a liar. It's habitual. What's in him? And this story, it was just funny to me because Joe Biden claimed his first job offer was from an Idaho lumber company. But the company said, So he went out there and he's in Idaho, was giving a speech. And, people always try to tell stories to relate to people in certain places. And he tried to do it in this instance. But in this instance, as Maury would say, that was a lie. He lied. That guy right there. So, says President Joe Biden did an event in Idaho Monday. So, of course, that means he made up some kind of connection to the state and got called out. And they need to keep Weekend at Biden's off the mic. They called him Weekend at Biden's. I don't know if you've seen Weekend at Bernie's when he's just lifeless. But they use Bernie to get things done for their weekend excitement. So the article continues. For some reason, partly because the president stay lying, and partly because he's a life hyper during a wildlife focused event, Biden claimed at his first job offer came from a local lumber and wood products business, Bose Cascade. Is it Boise Cascade? But the company says it has no record of that being true. So he continues to go on and say it was a joke that he always cracked with the late Democratic Senator Frank Church. Said that was his joke to him all the time. But the company said, we don't know you. We have no record of President Biden's application or of him having worked for our company. Company spokesperson said, we checked our systems internally and nothing has turned up. So, of course, that's not a big thing. It's not a big thing. Why should it be a big thing? And we get into more of the lies.
Speaking of elite crimes, you know, the one thing that Biden kind of was celebrated for in the withdrawal from Afghanistan was this drone strike that supposedly hit an ISIS-K target in retribution for their attack on our servicemen and women and innocent Afghan civilians. Well, there were, from the jump, a lot of questions about whether they really hit anyone related to ISIS. And very quickly, there started to be reports of large civilian casualties, at least 7 up to 10, including babies. I mean, little Afghan children. So the New York Times dug in and actually went on the ground and figured out who was it that our military, that in this drone strike was actually killed. And turns out, lo and behold, the supposed ISIS-K terrorist that they targeted was a 14-year employee of the Nutrition and Education International, a U.S. NGO that fights malnutrition. His name is Ahmadi. Let's throw this first tweet up on the screen. Evan Hill, I mean, phenomenal.
So the U.S. decided to do a drone strike after the attacks at the Kabul airport. And within doing this, they end up killing somebody who had nothing to do with terrorism. Not only that, he worked with an American NGO to work with malnutrition issues over there in Afghanistan. He was one of those people that you were supposed to uplift and help. And instead, you lied and killed his family. So let's get back to the story.
Journalism here. Phenomenal journalism. Went to the house, spoke to the family, tracked the security cameras that watched Mr. Ahmadi over the day go to his job, distributing aid to poor people who were without food, picking up his colleagues, filling his car with water canisters that he could bring home to his family. And what Evan says here, the final act of the U.S. war in Afghanistan was a drone strike in Kabul that killed 10 people. And ultimately, our latest investigation shows how a man the military saw as a, quote, imminent threat and ISIS facilitator was actually an aid worker returning to his family. When he pulled his white Toyota Corolla into his family's courtyard, his children ran out to greet him and to jump into the car. That's when the drone strike hit, murdering him and children in his family and extended family. Here's some of the detail that the New York Times, Evan Hill, was able to gather. Let's show this video, which shows, so the military claimed that he was picking up explosive material, loading his car down with explosive material. They even lied and said, we know that it was explosive material because there were secondary explosions that proved, and that's what really killed the civilians here. All complete lies. There were no secondary explosions. The civilians were directly killed, murdered by this drone strike. And you can see the security camera footage here that reveals Mr. Ahmadi loading his car with water to take to his home where they were facing a water shortage. Let's take a look at that.
At 2:35 p.m., Ahmadi pulls out a hose, and then he and a coworker fill empty containers with water. Earlier that morning, we saw Ahmadi bring these same empty plastic containers to the office.
And the military never would say who they hit.
Yes, they were just admitted, like ISIS-K.
They admitted to the New York Times they didn't even know who it was. But this drone tracked him for 8 hours as he went about his day, picking up his colleagues, going to his office. They described his office as an unknown compound, and it was really just an aid worker office. And so they followed him around, and then they killed this guy that they even admit they didn't even know who he was. It's such a crime, and unfortunately, so typical of what was done in Afghanistan and Iraq and throughout the region, year after year after year, president after president after president. And yet the thing they want Biden to resign for is his withdrawal from Afghanistan, not any of this.
You got to love that one. And this is the thing. This has been happening.
So yeah, like she said, you can do all of the wrong in the world, and then they'll find some technicality to try to fake argue in politics about if you're right or if you're wrong on it. It's counterproductive because it gets us nowhere. We don't handle real issues. They lied. They lied. They lied. They lied. They lied. The same people we're supposed to trust with the science lies about other things. How many times are we going to find out lies? Why is the government continuously lying to us about things that we can fact check and verify? That does not put us in a safer position. That does not make us better as people if we continuously are in that position. Why does it keep happening? Why? It's just crazy, and that we have a military who can just be this reckless. We have a military who can do whatever they want and there's no consequences. And the president has no consequences when he orders these things. When they get caught lying, there's no consequences. Why do we have all of this and no consequences for the people who need them? Certain people need them. The people in power need consequences. They need regulations. They need order. They need structure. They need people behind them to keep them from doing any of the bad shit that keeps on occurring. And to keep it going with that, we have a whole different situation where this occurs. Because I will give Biden some props for this, because he did release some of the 9/11 papers, and we got the first release from there. So we can get into that story right there from the 9/11 papers.
Really revelatory documents being released here by the Biden administration with regards to 9/11 in Saudi.
I've become quite obsessed over the last couple of weeks, just kind of revisiting 9/11 over the last 20 years. And one of the parts that will always get me is the Saudi connection. And
I kind of felt the same way. I watched the Netflix documentary. I've seen plenty of docs and everything about 9/11. I love this country. And that was a failure of government. It was a failure of our intelligence agencies. Everybody failed us as Americans that day. Then they failed us in the moments right after where they continuously lied. They did nothing to get the people who actually had connections to this, as this paper shows. It was a failure of our system. I don't think government trust has ever bounced back since 9/11. I don't know how it's going to bounce back with everything that's taking place now, but the trust in the government has been falling so far. Let's get back into the story.
A lot of the questions around the Saudi Arabian involvement. I'll say at the top, like, look, there is still to this date no evidence that the highest levels, and I say the highest levels of the Saudi government were involved in this plot. If anything, they hated bin Laden just as much as we did. But here's the question. What about the lower level ones? And those documents were held very tightly by the Bush administration. The Obama administration vetoed that bill that was pushed through the U.S. Senate, which would allow 9/11 families in order to sue the Saudi Arabian government. Then the Trump administration refused to declassify a further number of documents. Biden, in accordance with the 20th anniversary, ordered them declassified. We covered this about 2 weeks ago. Well, we got our very first one. So let's put this up there on the screen. And this is very important, because what it does is that the first declassified 9/11 document by the FBI also includes a memo. Now, within the memo, the FBI actually point to it and say definitively that it now shows no Saudi conspiracy. So let's put that Zero Hedge actually is the one who spotted this. Let's put that up there on the screen, that tweet. And what he points to there is that the FBI's kind of introductory memo, which was written in 2016, says it puts to bed any doubts about Saudi complicity. However, that is not even remotely true, because what you can actually see within the document is that it details even further the Saudi official Omar al-Bayoumi, who was in California and actually helped two of the 9/11 hijackers both secure a boarding house, a place to stay. He claims that he just ran into them while he was at, right? Also, Mr. Bayoumi, get this, was a grad student who never went to school, had no discernible source of funds, and just happened to be in California next to the 9/11 hijackers.
That seems legit.
I got a lot of questions.
They've also tracked the way he was, in fact, receiving all of these payments from all these like Saudi-run firms and not showing up to actually do any work, but still getting paid. And these two hijackers, they didn't speak any English.
No, exactly. It was Midhar and Hazmi. They spoke zero English, and he was their shepherd. And they were the first two to arrive here in the United States.
Right. And what people who encountered them at the time said is that there was no way they could have navigated around America without help. Bayoumi just happens to meet them immediately upon their arrival, happens to provide financial support.
So the FBI knew about these connections. They tried to downplay these connections. They are our leading law enforcement agency in America. They should be held to a really high standard, and things like this show us why we should not hold these guys to the highest standard of the law, because they don't even follow the law. They're not even doing everything to protect us. The CIA failed, the FBI failed, who was that? Department of Defense, for everybody failed. Everybody failed in this instance. The CIA had a chance to put the guy on the watch list, and they didn't. Put both the guys who met with the BME guy, they had a chance to put them on the watch list, and they did nothing about it. Nothing about it. But this is our leadership. These are the people in power. These are the people making the decisions. These are the people who help push us to war with countries who had nothing to do with us being attacked. It amazes me. Who's going to get in trouble for this? Who? Somebody knew. Somebody knew.
To them as well, and basically shepherd them around. And then why this is important is because he had direct connections to at least Saudi consular officials and was being
at the
paid
LA consulate.
backdoor by the Saudi government. So effectively, it looks very much like Mr. Bayoumi was Saudi intelligence, operational on the ground here, doing something, and just happened to become really besties with these two 9/11 hijackers.
The new memo also cites an FBI source who said Bayoumi held, quote, very high status at the Saudi consulate in LA. So at the time, they tried to portray him as, oh, he was barely anybody, didn't even know her. Here's what they said. He had, quote, even higher than many of the Saudi persons in charge of the diplomatic mission, strongly suggesting that he was an intelligence agent running a covert op on U.S. soil. So that is what is inside the new 9/11 document. And I knew when it was going to come out that it was almost certainly going to concern al-Bayoumi. Really what it is that there are so many questions on 9/11 which remain completely unanswered. Lawrence Wright, who wrote The Looming Tower, which is my favorite book on 9/11, he gave an interview that I was watching this weekend in which, you know, the exact reason why the CIA never put Nawaz al-Hazmi and Khalid al-Midhar on a FBI watch list still today is unclear.
Wow.
And by that, I mean they covered it up.
Wow.
They still, 20 years later, we do not have an official justification as to why a CIA cable, which recognized that these two gentlemen had visas to the United States in 2000, were not given over to the FBI. We don't have the names of those people. We don't know who was responsible. Over 50 people read that CIA cable while it was inside of their system. Nobody at the FBI was notified. Now, look, is there...
All right, so yeah, he's getting into some of the stuff I was saying. It was a failure of government. Everybody that day failed us. Nobody got in trouble for their failures. Who was reprimanded, who was in trouble? I feel like if I mess up at any job that I had and I made those type of mistakes that cost lives, somebody's getting in trouble. Somebody has somebody to account for, but we don't. Our system is just so broken in America right now. It's so broken that There's like no punishment for the people in power. You do whatever you want. You don't have to say I made a mistake. You don't have to acknowledge it. You don't have to do anything. You just keep doing what you're doing. You keep doing what you're doing until somebody say, hey, now it's time to change, but I don't know who's going to pop up and actually say that. Who's going to come make that change? Because it ain't looking good. It is not looking good. So we have an update from Miss Brittany Renner. She came out and said it's stepdaddy season. It is that she's back. She looking for the next person who's gonna pull up. We're gonna go ahead and see what she got to say because I think this was really interesting. You know what I'm saying? She made some good points. I'm not agreeing with all her points. She obviously made some good points though, so we gotta acknowledge that.
Hi. It's officially stepdaddy season. Yeah, what up? I got the car seat in the back. Let's go to the park. Don't let your baby mama or your baby daddy block your blessings. I know in theory it sounds good keeping the same person to have kids with, but that's insanity as well. So if it doesn't work out with them, it'll work out with someone else. Okay? It just will. That's how that goes. And trust me, I know it's ghetto. It is so ghetto being a baby mama, and thinking about multiple baby daddies is scary. But you and my baby gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right. So we're moving forward, onward, upward. Okay. I know a lot of you are skeptical about talking to people with children, but I can assure you, the baby mamas now, today, we don't give a damn.
Let me stop right there. I gotta interject on some of this. The stepdaddy season part. I mean, there's always gonna be stepdaddy season if you decide to play that role. If you're gonna be a stepdaddy, she should be the. I don't want to put that bad bone on people, but I think she should be one of the most outstanding women I've ever met in my life. No shade to Brittany Renner, but she says she's the thirst trap queen. She said she was gonna do this to an NBA player, and it happened. I blame PJ Washington for being stupid. Definitely his fault. It's definitely his fault. She said the baby mamas today don't care. Baby mamas will always care. Don't put out a false statement. Just because you don't care don't mean other baby mamas don't. Not everybody wants people around their kids. That's a little off-putting too, to know that you don't care who the hell's around your children. You should care. You're their mama.
You can have them. I have exited the rat race. I am not a threat. I want you to be around for a long time, not a good time. You can hold my son.
That's a good point. She said she don't care about PJ no more. Anybody who want him can have him. Hopefully that's true. If you're saying that and you're making a public proclamation about it, hopefully that's true. Hopefully it's true, because don't be that person. If the relationship don't work and it didn't work, sometimes you gotta let it fly, let it go.
Put him on your story. I trust his judgment. I really do. I really, really do. I just want you guys to be happy. I swear. I do. Now, I'm not a threat, but I can't speak for the other hoes that you don't know about. May the odds ever be in your favor. But I am here for it. Okay? Like, people move on. You should have got the ring first. It wasn't gonna work out anyways. It just wasn't gonna work out. Let's laugh together and let's raise this baby,
See, but the difference is with that, if you actually stopped and thought about it, hey, let's try to get the ring, get this marriage working right. Statistics show it work better than just being out here humping and getting pregnant. And yeah, that actually does matter. Don't put that false thought out there. The ring's probably something you should look for more than just, being a baby mama, like you said. You said it's ghetto. But then you also come back and say that it doesn't matter whether you got a ring or not. Let's just raise this baby. So you want the ghetto. That's what it sounds like.
Oh, it's ghetto. It's so fucking ghetto. In conclusion, stepdaddy season. Big aura, big lumber, big follow through need only apply.
So, I mean, there you have it. It's stepdaddy season. If you want to sign up, that's your prerogative. You wouldn't catch me nowhere close to Brittany Renner. She was an attractive young lady, but yeah, there's so many beautiful women. I wouldn't have to deal with ones who wanna act in your manner. That's all I'm saying. When there's fish in the sea, I don't have to go play in your pond. There's other fish in the sea. There are a lot more fish in the sea. So we here. It's time for TV talk. You know what I've been on. It's our weekly update on Raising Canaan. And boy, was it good. Jukeboxing with the Nicole's funeral. I felt bad for her. She got arrested for breaking into Nicole's room. She got caught by the parents. The whole time I'm watching the show, I'm like, damn, Juke, just get out. Like, don't get caught. But lucky for her, the detective came and spared her. He spared her. And she went and told Kanan she does not blame him for the drugs. He did not give it to Nicole. Nicole took it out her bag. She's right about that. It's not his fault in that instance. It just sucks that, it passed through his hands because of a decision he made. But the war is here. They tried to kill Lulu. I don't know if they did. And I haven't watched the trailer yet, but guess what? I got it loaded up so we can watch it together. You hear me? Got it loaded up. But yeah, they tried to kill Lulu. Lulu, my boy. Because Marvin's a fuck up. He is a fuck up. He definitely is. But Lulu, he's solid. They don't make the mistakes. Mind us, he didn't kill the guy. But they don't make too many mistakes, usually. So far in this show. But let's get into this trailer for next week.
If I do this for you, I get a pass, detective. I'm not gonna lie to you no more, Kanan. You deserve the truth. You're in danger. All you police are.
Why are you telling me?
Just don't want nobody else to get hurt.
What's next?
Revolution.
Oh, it's looking lit. Looks like she gonna have to tell Kanan the truth. She been lying. She said the guy who's supposed to be his father was left-handed. That's a new one for me. I've never heard of somebody call somebody left-handed. But he was left-handed, so he ain't the daddy. If y'all didn't see, y'all need to go see. But it look interesting. It look like the wars really escalated. From there, Lulu may be gone. I don't know. Look like they could be in a funeral home almost in that last scene. Probably planning for the funeral. And you also get the scene of Marvin shooting up cars. I can't wait for next week. I can't wait. It's right around the corner. I'm going to find out what's going on. But thank you for listening to another episode of The L.I.M.E Show. I know it's been another short one, Still a little under the weather. As soon as I bounce back, I actually got some guests lined up that I can't wait for you guys to hear. I have some guests that I really can't wait for y'all to hear. But it's your boy DJTheParkBoy. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share. And we out.